Good morning, YouTube family. Just wanted to do a video this morning. It's 20 to 8 here in Eastern Pennsylvania. And I'm going to pick up from where I left off yesterday. And that was I had left New York and my husband's wife had went on to Virginia. And we ended up staying in Fayetteville, North Carolina. The reason we stayed in North Carolina was because he had a relative there, the man I fell in love with in New York, and because there were servicemen in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and because he knew I could prostitute. That is kind of where we set up shop to start. Okay, I don't remember a lot, I'm going to be honest, because of the use of alcohol and drugs and the trauma. I have a lot of lapses in my memory, and there are some things that stand out more than most. And this particular instance in Fayetteville, you figure I was only 15. I am now almost 60. I'll be 60 next month. So, that's a long, long time ago. But I do remember in Fayetteville that we got caught up with some people, that a white woman and a black man, and we were staying in a hotel. I don't remember exactly where it was, but I know this guy had his eye on me, and she did too, and they were with some kind of mafia or crime boss thing. I don't even know. I'm telling you some of the stuff I got involved in when I was younger. The fact that I'm sitting here talking to you is a miracle in itself, because I should be dead. But anyway, they planned to kidnap me, and my husband overheard this. At the time, it was my husband. He was just the guy that I met. But the guy was happened to hear this, and he said, "Michelle, we got to get out of here." So we ended up meeting outside the hotel. I don't know how everything worked out, but I know we were hitchhiking, got in a car, and by that time they had realized that we were leaving and were trying to chase us down. And believe it or not, the car we got in, this is crazy, it didn't have a back seat. So when we got in, we had to sit in the back with no back seat, which was good for us because they started shooting at us. Can you believe that? The people we were trying to escape from began to shoot at us. Fortunately for us, we got away. So that's one time I escaped from death. That's only one time. There's been several. And I don't know how or when. Eventually, we did make it back to Virginia. And we began to live in Abingdon and Bristol, Virginia, which was the area where he was from. And then, of course, I got caught and went, as I told you all, I went to jail. Once I went to jail, I went and got put away, and I was away until I was 18, 3 weeks after my 18th birthday. Now, my parents had come out when I first got placed. When they found out, because I was a runaway, so when I was actually caught, they were notified, and they came out to Virginia to a court date, and my mother basically told them she couldn't take me home because she knew if she went to take me home that she'd never get me on the plane, and she's right. I would probably went back home because my stepfather was a pervert, and I really thought I was in love, so I wasn't going to go back home after tasting freedom for all that time. So that's why I got locked away. And then 3 weeks after my 18th birthday, I got sent back, or they came and got me. I don't remember which. I think they came and got me, took me back to Pennsylvania. And I ended up getting a job in some training at a place near my hometown. And it had been like 3 weeks, and I ran into a gentleman on the street, thought I fell in love, started seeing the guy, ended up leaving my home and moving in with this guy. I thought, come to find out, he had another girlfriend, but this was after he started pimping me. I don't know why I let guys know that I worked the streets, because as soon as a black guy knew I worked the streets, I just had a loser on my forehead, and that would attract them, and then they would send me out there to do the work. Okay, but of course, I thought I was in love, and, I was good at what I did, and of course, I was liking the compliments, even though I hated the work, and just all kind of stuff. It just doesn't even make sense when I look at it now, but psychologically, when you've been through stuff, you tend to make decisions based on emotions, fractured emotions, not even healthy emotions. So I left home, moved in with him. Once we were up making love one day up on the stairs, and this girl came up, she catches us, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I find out he has a girlfriend. But I stayed with him anyway. And the guy used to beat my ass so bad. Like, he was so jealous. Come to find out, he was sleeping around And after we finally broke up for good, I found out he was messing with little girls. He was accusing me of sleeping with his brothers, which was what he was doing. He was a pedophile. And he ended up getting put in prison, and he died in prison. Him and my husband died 9 months apart from one another back in 2014. Kind of blew my mind, to be honest with you, because I'm still living. This is my only 2 serious relationships, and they're both gone. How did I luck out, you know? But anyway, I digress. I keep doing that a lot. So I continued to work the streets, and then I became a dancer. I ended up visiting a strip joint one day, and I saw these girls dancing. I thought, oh, that's great, and I'm a good dancer. Anyway, so I thought, well, they told me to try out with my clothes on, and I did, and I got the job. So for 2.5 years, I danced straight. Then I went off the scales because I was with him, and I went back. So off and on for like 6 years, I was a stripper or a topless dancer. I made good money, and I wasn't just a shake your booty kind of gal. I really could have probably been a dancer had I used the skills, because I've always been very creative. I'm a good writer, good dancer. I'm good at creating art, decorating, you name it. I've got that little touch or whatever it is. It's a gift, but I didn't. I went out and spent my gifts and did stuff in other areas. So, now I'm with this other guy, and we're in a relationship for like 5 years, and I ended up getting pregnant and having another son. And that's the son now that's in prison. So it's a son by a different father. My other 2 children are by the man that I was with for many years and ended up marrying. So he eventually became my husband, the guy who was my pimp that I was with off and on for 20-something years. I'm trying to think, it's really hard to try to focus on some of the stuff, trying to remember where I left off, and, but I never fell out of love with this man, my first love, I call him, because he really was. He really, even though he wasn't healthy for me, I was deeply, deeply in love with him. I thought we had a passionate relationship, and it was unhealthy, but it was just very deep. If you probably know, if you've been with abusers, you know what that's like. They make you feel wonderful and awful and wonderful and awful. And so I wanted to always know what it would be like to be back with him. And so when I was 23, I ended up getting in touch with him. I went back to Virginia. And we ended up spending, until I was 31 years old, we were together and got pregnant with my youngest son. I finally left because when I was with him, I was not pregnant just one time. I got pregnant with my daughter. Maybe it was, when did I go back with him? I don't know. I got pregnant with my daughter in 1985. And after 2 years, I lost her to the state of Virginia, and they ended up adopting her. And I had already lost my first son to my adopted mother in Pennsylvania. So now I'm in Virginia. I've lost another child. And that's not losing a child. I let this child go because I chose my lifestyle, because I wasn't thinking very much of myself. And so I let my children go over a fucking man. Like, when I look back then now, I'm just like, what the hell was I thinking? But I wasn't thinking. God, it just hurts my heart when I think about the choices I made, So when I got pregnant with my son, now at 29, I already told a story about getting shot. But when I was 31, I became pregnant with my youngest son, and I realized that there was no way I was going to stay with this man if he was going to continue to prostitute me. And I didn't want to drink anymore. I wanted to quit the alcohol because I'd been shot, and the doctor told me I was going to die. And living with him, it was just hard not to drink because he was an alcoholic, and he was abusive. And so I found myself slipping back into old ways. But when I was pregnant, I didn't want to do that, and he didn't like that. And we had a big fight one night because he wanted to take me out to a bar, and I didn't want to go because I was 3 months pregnant. I was tired, and I just wanted to be home. I was 2 months pregnant. I was tired. I just wanted to stay home. But I went with him, because he convinced me. Made me drink a drink. Didn't want to drink. And then accused him when he got home of me flirting with some guy and stabbed me in the foot and ripped my foot open. Now I'm 2 months pregnant. That's when I left. And I thought, you know what? I'm not losing another child over a man. I'm just not doing it. And this man was not going to change. So I left, and I went to a shelter in Tennessee, transferred to Pennsylvania, and began my journey as a pregnant woman in Pennsylvania. And I'm going to pick that up another pick up the rest of it tomorrow. I don't want to make these too long. It's very hard to upload them until I get enough subscribers. I can't do a live feed except on Facebook, and I can't transfer them here because it's a private group. So it's just, it's a lot right now. I'm trying to juggle 3 groups, two Facebook groups, and a YouTube channel. I want to merge them all into one, hopefully through YouTube. That's my hopes down the road, but we'll see what happens. Right now I have 24 subscribers, and in both of my groups I have like 800, members together combined, and I can't get but a couple over here. So we'll see what happens. It's all really in God's hands, not in my hands. But yeah, when I left Virginia and I finally left him and left my husband, I was able to stay away, but it wasn't easy. It was not easy. But I was tired. And I wanted to be a better mother. I wanted to be a better daughter. I wanted to be a real friend. I wanted to live an honest life. I didn't want to be a prostitute. I didn't want to lie, steal, cheat, drink, and do drugs anymore. I wanted to be a mom that my kids could be proud of. Unfortunately, it was a lot harder than I thought, but we'll get into that tomorrow because we'll talk about me being pregnant, what a great pregnancy it was, how awesome I was healthy, I loved it, and then we'll get into after I had the baby and everything I had to deal with because, of course, the father of the baby was not going to let me go without a fight. I was his meal ticket. And I think he loved me in his warped way, but still, I was his meal ticket. And after he dropped me, he'd always get another girl to support him as far as working the streets. So he never changed when we separated. And to me, that was just like, I'm not going back to bullshit. But eventually I did take him back before he died just to try to help him through. And that didn't work out. But we'll talk about that and other things in the future. For now, I'm going to get going. It's a new day. Got a few things I got to do. Thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe. Please comment below if you have anything to say, if you want to see anything in particular, or if you have any questions or comments. Be more than glad to answer. We're on this COVID thing now, so I'm home a lot. And I'll be honest with you, this is one of the few outlets I have to actually talk to people because I'm very isolated. And so I'm grateful for any responses, any comments, or anything you'd like to share. Thank you so much. Y'all be blessed and have a wonderful day. Mwah. I love you.